you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hello, Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show family is the family that loves you, but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of your family, because, well, they just don't love you as much as we do. There you go. We got an amazing young lady on the show today. We're going to be talking to her about what she does and how she does it and how you can improve your life through some of the stuff that she talks about. We have Ashmita Arora on the show. We're going to be talking about her organization. She's a clarity intuitive who channels soul level wisdom to help individuals release stuck patterns, reset their energy, and align with who they're becoming. Rooted in her own journey of dismantling and reassembly through spiritual awakening, loss, and deep remembering, her work is deeply embodied, compassionate, and intuitive. Using a blend of intuitive channeled guidance and intellect, she creates a safe, non-judgmental containers to support understanding and transformation. Her signature offerings range from one-on-one intuitive group sessions to group rituals, couples readings, and multi-session journeys that guide seekers through emotional clarity, soul alignment, and energetic embodiment. Welcome to the show. How are you, Ashmita?
Good. I'm doing amazing. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thanks for coming. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you out about on the interwebs?
Yeah, mine's simple. AshmitaArora.com.
There you go. So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside or what you do there.
Yeah, so my website has all of my offerings up on there. And essentially what I do is help people that are in transition in their life. Like, so if they're going through a divorce, if they're going through some sort of a heartbreak, grief, guilt, any type of heavy emotions, and I help them see the silver lining and the energetic patterns that are wanting to come through in their life and help them understand it on a deeper soul level.
There you go. So give us and so you work with people. What does your average customer client look like? What do they need to have a certain amount of budget or?
It really ranges. Right now there's an uptick in just individuals that have they've obtained a certain amount of societal success in their life, yet they're finding quite a bit of emptiness in their personal lives, in their actual self-fulfillment. And so I've been noticing more and more it's people that have a certain level of education that are working in jobs that we would consider successful, people in society, and yet they are feeling empty. Something's missing, something's shifting inside of them that they can't necessarily make sense of. It's kind of like that the old idea of everything looks good on the outside, but doesn't feel right on the inside. And that's kind of more of the clientele as of late. But then there's also a good amount of people that have just been living with heaviness for so long and they don't want to live with it anymore. So I help them transmute it by understanding it and being able to come to it from a place of gratitude.
Coming from gratitude is a great place to deal with things. And in the work that you do different sessions, I guess. I see different sessions you have available on your website. How does that work?
Yeah, it really depends on the individual, what level of transformation they're ready for and aligned with. And so some of the heavier sessions are compact. So they're almost like these intensives that I have them go through. And it can look different for all individuals. When I'm doing the session, it's very much channeled from source. So when I say that, it's more intuitive. I allow whatever information is coming to me to just come through as it may. For some individuals, it's a very caring, loving, gentle process. For others, it's on a harsher level where say, for instance, somebody that's used to being able to talk their way through life.
Hmm.
It's one of those sessions where I'm like, nope, 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 cut it. Nope, I don't want to hear the crap. And I have to go in like that because it's really transforming your life, and it's like holding a mirror up to them and
Hmm.
really showing them things that they don't even realize are there, right? So I have to do it in a certain way depending on their aura.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. So you get into it with people now. Does it take many sessions to work through these sort of issues and stuff?
It can vary. There's been some people that have come in and they just need like the clarity for a specific situation
Hmm.
that I'm able to help them out with, and they go on their way. And then there's other people that will take the information and really have to sit with it before going to the next part because it's like I said, it's very deep. Um, it's not a surface level change, and that's why actually some of my programs, because of the level of energetic work it takes me and takes them, I have to put an application in because a lot
Hmm.
of times they don't necessarily understand whether or not they're at that threshold yet themselves.
Mm, there you go. And so why do people have a lot of these emotional issues and stuff? What do you think gets them stuck?
You know, it's I mean, they're not gonna grow until you get stuck. You don't like, there's I say it like this, there's contraction and then there's expansion.
Hmm.
And when you're in alignment with what you're meant to be doing, you're in this state of expansion.
Mm.
And when you're out of alignment, you're in a state of contraction. And there's
Mm.
only so much you can contract to where you combust, and
Oh yeah.
something needs to kind of shift. And that's why a lot of people in our society right now are going through these issues with depression, anxiety. Like it's a breaking point for a lot of people to
Hmm.
take note of not being okay because there's
Yeah.
only so long. But I also come from the belief that there's no real healing because
Hmm.
nobody's really broken. These are
Mm.
just things that our soul challenges that our soul wants us to experience so we can grow from it. And so they're not bad at all. And
Hmm.
I mean, I would argue that if somebody came in with a completely blessed life, what we would consider a blessed life, and had no challenges, that would actually be a detriment to them. Because, for instance, if you don't go through those challenges, you can't get that deeper level of compassion or understanding for different situations. But as you move through your challenges, you open up your toolbox.
Mm. There you go. There you go. Open up the toolbox, as they like to say. So there you go.
Yeah.
So let's see. Do you have any stories of people that you've helped, and maybe they were going through some sort of issue, and kind of how they came out the other side after working with you?
Yeah, definitely. I'll get I'll give the generalization of it just for
Sure.
privacy
Yes.
reasons. Um, but there was a client who was having a hard time with going to work because
Mm.
the type of work that they did was something, let's say addiction, that
Hmm.
they struggle with themselves.
Mm.
And so they had a very they felt like they were a hypocrite for what
Hmm.
they were doing because they're
Huh.
doing this thing, but they're also in charge of helping families going through this and having to deal with this.
Yeah.
And it's this double it was a double life. Essentially, it's a double life, and they hated that they did this, and they had to sit with it. Um, and basically, it took, believe it was 3 sessions before they started integrating on their own,
Hmm.
where they came in and we actually played back the dynamic of the addiction and themselves. And
Mm.
in their earlier life, a parent
Mm.
who then had the same dynamic with them as the the addiction, the product, the thing.
Hmm.
And it was her body was her as a child, meaning it was watching what was happening, and it was breaking down and having issues.
Hmm.
Just people think sometimes it's just the addiction and it's a mental thing, but this was actually breaking down her her system, her body,
Mm.
and her and it reflected her and her sibling when they were younger because they didn't understand the parent dynamic and what it was doing to them,
Mm.
and allowing the one parent to keep coming back even though they knew what to expect,
Hmm.
similar to the addiction, allowing it to come back knowing what to expect, not even wanting it, but allowing it because of the love that it had, because it's your parent, because you want it to be okay, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
they kept opening that door, they kept letting them in, knowing that they're going to leave, knowing that they're going to come back, the back and forth, and s- feeling afterwards like, why did I even let them in when I knew what was going to happen?
Hmm.
Feeling the same with the addiction, that why did I do that? I knew I was going to feel like crap afterwards. And then we were able to tie that into patterns throughout school and different times in their life to then transmute it and find that the addiction is not necessarily the addiction. The addiction is this energetic pattern. The people and the substance are just icons
Mm.
for what we go through in our life. And so sometimes we think we have, say, problems, but it's deeper. It's actually the soul level energy that is
Mm.
behind that. Because the feeling that the addiction gave her at the end was the exact same that her parent gave her when she was
Oh,
younger. And
wow.
like the absence of the care for the children when they were younger was the same absence of care for the body.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
Because
pretty amazing.
it's just, so the way that it comes across, it's really different. It's almost like in the Matrix when you kind of see all the grids and such. It
Hmm.
tends to come through to me in that form, and I can't even necessarily explain how I understand it. It's just being able to read between the lines, and just it's a knowing. It just kind of comes across. So I'm able to bring it to light and help them then bring their power back and be like, okay, what what can you say thank you for? And
Hmm.
I hear nothing,
Oh,
nothing. I want to forgive it. Like I can say I forgive this, blah blah blah, but I can't say thank you. And I go, okay, so there's more work, because
oh.
what happens is when we get to that stage of truly understanding it, we see where in life it allowed us to expand and grow and the good that came out of it. And then when you get to that, when they're able to say, yes, okay, now I have complete gratitude for that situation,
Hmm.
then I'm like, there we go. That's the alchemy right there. That's when we've alchemized it, transitioned it, and cleared you from it for to know now, right?
Yeah.
So it's happened in my life too. There was times when I've had multiple miscarriages, and at that time, it's complete hell. It's you're in a state of there's no good that comes from situations like this
Hmm.
until years later, after the awakening, where I was able to look back and say, wow, so much had happened. I see now why the timing was as it was, and I'm grateful for it every day.
Hmm. Well, there you go. That's awesome. So many of these issues are based in childhood, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of unresolved trauma and different things that we have going on in childhood. Tell us about your life. How did you get into this field and come down this road and learn about this work, et cetera, et cetera? How were you growing up, and did you go through your life?
Yeah, I I mean, the work, I can't say I went into it necessarily willingly, because I think even, I mean, in school, when they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, it's can't really be like a clarity, intuitive, and want to be able to read energetic patterns. Um, so definitely not planned for me. I always felt like my life didn't make sense, even
Hmm.
growing up, where I knew, I, uh, as far as school went, I knew that I knew the stuff, I just could not get myself to go to school. Like, I just hated going to school. High school came, my counselor's like, "Hey, if you show up for the whole week, I'll buy you lunch. Like, come, here's the incentives." I just I felt sick, continuously sick.
Hmm.
I could not explain why it just did not align. It just didn't align. And not that it was, like, hard for me or I didn't know, what's going on when I am there. I just didn't want to. Maybe we just kinda chalked it up to, like, a rebellious stage, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially coming from even earlier in my childhood where we were very, very much high achievers with sports and, like, you name the sport, we were doing it. School, tutoring, the whole thing. So, um, yeah, I got to high school and just kind of felt like I didn't really realize because that's the only thing you can really fit into. It's like going to school and pursuing whatever you want to pursue later.
Hmm.
Just didn't. I always had big hopes to do something. I just did not align. So I found out later on that if I had gone to school, if not that I didn't go, I went to school, I went to college and everything. But if I had found success in doing what I was supposed to be doing, I wouldn't have had the same amount of need to go through the spiritual awakening that I did go through
Mm-hmm.
because it just didn't make sense. I had the intellectual side to be able to go and study and all of that. I just kept getting sick, honestly. Like I would just out of nowhere. Like there was no reason. I just didn't want to go. And if I forced myself to go, I get sick. And for a long time people thought that it was something that I was like making up and I was not. And so even after that, after school, after college, just going into the workforce and I was in real estate, same thing just kept happening to me. I just kept getting sick. I'd want to do everything the best I could. Just didn't make sense. I'd get sick. Started a couple businesses and I had one that was a scone business, so I'd make scones.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the day, I'd be in the hospital with swollen feet. My body just would give out just
Wow.
from the physical aspect.
Hmm.
So it was kind of one of those things where I didn't feel like doing it in high school, and then when I did try to go on this path of building my career and doing everything, it was
Mm-hmm.
almost like there was, like, these blocks or health issues along the way, and I would hustle. Like, my adult life, I was hustling, 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 and it just didn't work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
something and it didn't make sense why it didn't work because on paper, everything seemed straight and, like, exactly on point.
Mm-hmm.
Till my health basically shut down. I had paralysis in half of my body.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't move. I had, something called a hemiplegic migraine, which, like, half my face would drop, stroke-like
Oh,
drop.
wow.
And so
That
I
is
had to
long.
yeah, it was wild, and it was all from putting stress on myself, trying to just hustle, hustle, keep going, keep going, and it was like a forced dead stop where I basically had this spiritual awakening and came out of my senses, which is the only time when anything started making sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Well,
was basically saying how all the challenges that I had gone through, the things not making sense, the trying things and having them not work out as they were supposed to, or getting the thing and not having it feel the same. I needed to go through all of these things so I could then help individuals that were going through similar things.
mm-hmm.
Then I said, "Oh, okay, now I get thank you. Now I understand. I get the level of pain that comes with certain situations in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
without those experiences, I wouldn't have had that."
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah, it's pretty wild how childhood just shapes a lot of these things. Now I notice on your website you have some events that you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, so I do, different types. I do rituals for individuals. These are, really good bridges for people that are um, not too familiar with clarity intuitive work and the because a lot of people are used to hearing about tarot or psychic readings and things like that, and they're not so privy to just being able to sit down and have somebody go right into their energetic pattern for their soul, which can be a
Hmm.
little intense. So I have offerings. Um, I have some talks coming up as well where they can just come and sit and have like a little bridge to learn a little bit more about the spiritual side of things and the challenges that they're going through. And some are one on one. So I bring them through to do the ritual to release what they feel they need to release, to understand it a little bit better, and go on their way with a little bit more clarity. And some of them are talks. So they come and sit with me, and I'm able to talk to them about things like I have one coming up that's about the ego and how when I let the grip of my ego let go, then I was able to hold its hand willingly.
Yeah.
So really just, taking my experiences and seeing who needs to hear about them and who resonates with them and allowing them to go deeper into their journey as well.
There you go. There you go. So as we go out, anything else we want to talk about or promote while we're on the show?
No, I've got my website. If it resonates, then feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to kind of give you an introduction to more of what I do and what I could do for individuals that are looking for um, a deeper personal uh, lifelong journey transition that they want to go through or that they feel like they've just a bit had gone through. I can help them make sense of that a little bit more. Um, but really, I would say the biggest thing when we talk about aligning with our soul purpose is just to follow our inner compass, which is knowing what makes us feel contracted and what makes us feel expanded in this life and
Yeah.
allowing it to just flow. Yeah, not doing things out of the fear, the guilt, and the obligation. Those are three of the main aspects that I found in my work that really make people contract and go off the path. It might work for a little while, but only for so long.
There you go. There you go. Well, to give people your .coms as we go out and final pitch out, how can they onboard with you? How can they reach out and find out more?
Yes, absolutely. Everything they'll need to know is right on my website at ashmitaaurora.com. And that's ASHMITAARORA.com. And they can go on there and go through situations in their life. I've got a bunch listed out and as well as recommended services. So it's all on there.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Ashmita.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thanks, Ernest, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.